We have the graph of y equals g of x, and we want to sketch the graph of y equals negative g of x. So this time, the reflection is given to us as the equation in function notation. When you see this, I want you to be able to think, what are we going to multiply by negative 1? Your x values or your y values? It's outside the function. You're going to multiply your y values by a negative 1. If I multiply my y values by a negative 1, will I reflect over the y-axis or reflect over the x-axis? So I also want you to make a note that that will reflect over the x-axis. So we can take some key points and say, if I have 3, 1, and I multiply my y value by a negative 1, I'm going to get 3, negative 1. If I take the point, oh, that's not, they do this sometimes. Anybody see my mistake? It's very sneaky. I made a mistake. No, it's good. I should just keep going. Just forget about the mistake. Just leave it. Maybe the teacher won't notice because you guys didn't notice. Yes. Look at the scale. Can you see the scales going by 2s? Can you see yourself going, oh, I went up 1 and labeling it 3, 1? I notice a lot of graphs that come from, like there's a program that makes the graphs for questions on your quizzes and stuff. A lot of them mix the scale up every once in a while, so you have to be careful with that. So it should have been 3, 2. Oh, look at that save. Oh, no. Okay, wait for it. Wait, there we go. Like it never happened. Perfect. So we have 3, 2 and 3, negative 2. I noticed it when I went to label this point because I wanted to label this red point as 1, 3, and I saw the 4 there, and I said something's going wrong. 1, 6. And if I multiply that y value by a negative, I'll go down to 1, negative 6. And so if I'm drawing these graphs, this graph is going to go like this, and then it's going to go up. I'm going to just hesitate for a moment. Can you see that when it goes up, it will intersect or cross the red graph somewhere? There's no way that I can go up without hitting the red graph. Where should it hit the red graph? If I decided to deduct 73 marks for having it not intersect at the right place, would you be able to get it to intersect at the right place? Where would it be? Where it goes, it's going down, where it crosses this right there. That is where the two graphs will cross. Makes sense because if you're flipping over an x-axis, your x-intercept isn't going to change. Because what's your y value at your x-intercept? 0. And if you multiply 0 by negative 1, you still get 0. Excellent, excellent. So here we have our graph. Now the question said, what's the domain and range of both of these? It's kind of the domain for the red one was everything, and the range for the red one was everything. And the domain and range is still everything. So that wasn't too helpful. But the key thing is when they give it to you in one form, like these are 3 different forms of the same thing. And I want you to be able to think in all 3 of those forms. So if they give you the function notation, You need to be able to recognize, oh, that's multiplying my y values by -1. That's a reflection over the x-axis. If they tell you it's a reflection over the x-axis, I want you to make sure you know you're multiplying your y values by -1, and this is the function notation. Okay, questions for practice on this one? 4, 5, 6, 10, and 11.